Listen closely, because this word is not coming to you by coincidence. Something in the spirit realm has shifted. You can feel it, can't you? The atmosphere around you is no longer still. The wind of heaven is beginning to move, and it carries your name upon it. For a long time, it felt as though everything was stuck. Doors refused to open. Prayers seemed unanswered. Seasons blurred together in waiting, wondering, weeping. But now, there's movement. There's acceleration. There's a divine current beginning to sweep through your life, and heaven is declaring, the season has shifted. What was delayed is now being delivered. What was stagnant is now being stirred. What once looked buried is about to break the surface. You are stepping into a divine moment where God Himself is moving swiftly, not according to the slow rhythm of man, but according to the urgency of destiny. You may not understand everything that's happening right now. Sudden changes, unexpected endings, people walking away, plans dissolving, emotions intensifying. But hear me, these are not signs of chaos, they're signs of transition. The ground beneath you is shaking because heaven is rearranging things for your next elevation. This is not just another chapter. This is a divine turning point. The waiting season is closing. The appointed time has come. You've cried your last tear over that closed door. You've endured your final test in that wilderness. The cloud is moving, and so must you. In this message, heaven will unveil what this shift truly means, why it had to happen now, how it connects to your calling, and what God is setting in motion on your behalf. So stay right here, still your spirit. Because in the next moments, revelation will meet recognition. Prophecy will meet proof. And you will understand why the winds have changed direction. The Spirit of God whispers, "Tell my chosen one, what took years will now happen in moments. What was hidden will be revealed swiftly. For I am moving, and I am moving now." The shift you're feeling is not imagined. It's not just energy, emotion, or timing. It's divine orchestration. The same hand that hung the stars in the sky is the hand that's rearranging the details of your destiny right now. God has stepped into motion. And when He moves, everything responds: hearts, doors, timelines, even resistance. What once refused to move will have no choice but to yield to His command. Because when heaven issues an order, creation listens. For months, maybe even years, He's been working in silence, not absent, not idle, just unseen. Building, pruning, preparing, shaping the unseen parts of your journey, so that when this moment arrived, nothing would be out of place. Every detour you took, every delay you endured, every no that broke your heart was heaven's way of keeping you in divine alignment. You see, there are moments in life when God doesn't explain, He orchestrates. He doesn't ask permission, He establishes His will. And this is one of those moments. The shift you're sensing is not man-made. It is Spirit-initiated. You've crossed an invisible line in time, the border between waiting and walking, between promise spoken and promise fulfilled. In this new season, God is not moving according to convenience. He's moving according to covenant. He's fulfilling what He spoke long ago. Words that once felt distant are now stirring in the atmosphere, searching for manifestation. Prophecies that once seemed delayed are now aligning with divine urgency. Heaven has declared enough, waiting it is time. But listen carefully. With every divine acceleration comes divine responsibility. This is not a moment to rush ahead in excitement. It's a moment to anchor yourself in faith. When God moves swiftly, He requires your discernment to move wisely. You must stay sensitive, because not every open door is ordained, and not every voice cheering for you is pure. This new season carries weight. It's holy ground dressed in change. The familiar will begin to fade so that the authentic can emerge. People who once walked closely may quietly drift. Assignments that once felt alive may suddenly lose their pulse. Don't mourn the fading, it's divine pruning. He's making room for what truly belongs. So breathe. You are standing beneath a sky heavy with promise. Heaven's clock has struck now. And though the winds of change may feel unsettling, remember they are carrying you toward divine fulfillment. The Spirit of the Lord is saying, I am hastening my word to perform it. That which was spoken in tears will soon be seen in triumph. Do not resist the speed of my movement. Align your steps with it. This is the hour of divine motion, swift, sure, and unstoppable. The Spirit is speaking with urgency now. There's a quickening in the air, a spiritual acceleration that can't be explained by logic or planning. You've stepped into what heaven calls the appointed hour. Not a random moment, not coincidence, not luck, but the precise point in time where everything that was once held back begins to surge forward under divine command. The Lord is saying, I am moving swiftly because the time is short. There are promises, overdue mantles, waiting to be claimed, and destinies that can no longer remain dormant. This is that moment where everything starts to make sense, where the pressure, the pruning, the pain, all point toward purpose. The warfare wasn't random. The silence wasn't rejection. The tears were not wasted. Every delay was divine calibration, the kind of preparation that only God could design. He had to make sure your heart was ready before the blessing arrived, because what's coming carries weight. The shift that has begun is not just a change in atmosphere, it's a change in order. God is rearranging positions, transferring influence, and elevating those who remained faithful in obscurity. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Hidden ones are about to be revealed. Doors that were once guarded by men are being opened by angels. Assignments that once seemed impossible are being released with ease. This is the hour where heaven says, go. For some it will feel like things are falling apart, but in truth, they're falling into place. Divine reordering often feels like disruption. Before God moves you into what's new, He dismantles what's old. You may see relationships dissolving, jobs ending, locations shifting, not because you did something wrong, but because your environment can no longer sustain your next level. The soil of your past season cannot nourish the fruit of your future. And so God is moving swiftly, cutting ties, closing doors, clearing space. He's not punishing you, He's positioning you. You've outgrown the places where you once fit. You're stepping into divine expansion, not by your own striving, but by His Spirit. This is the prophecy. God is accelerating the manifestation of long-awaited promises. What should have taken years will happen in months. What once moved inch by inch will now leap forward in sudden motion. He's redeeming the time, restoring opportunities, connections, and resources that seemed lost. He's calling forth what was buried in delay and breathing life into it again. But not everyone will understand this speed. To those still in old cycles, your sudden rise will look suspicious. They'll say, how did this happen so fast? But what they don't know is that you've been in a private season of preparation for a very long time. You've been forged in silence. You've carried oil no one else saw. You fought battles in the dark that heaven is now rewarding in the light. This is not favoritism, it's fulfillment. The Lord is honoring endurance. He's rewarding those who didn't give up, who worshiped through warfare, who kept believing even when the evidence said otherwise. And there's more. The Spirit says, I am aligning divine connections with divine timing. People are being sent to help carry what you carry. Voices will emerge to confirm what I've spoken. Provision will meet purpose. Every delay is being reversed. Every hindrance is bowing. Every false start is being redeemed by acceleration. And the proof will be undeniable. Before this year ends, you will look back and say, only God could have done this. Because it won't be by might nor by power, but by His Spirit. The same way Joseph went from prison to palace overnight, the same way Esther went from hidden to crowned in one divine season, so too shall your life shift from waiting to walking in the promise. The trumpet has sounded in the Spirit. Heaven's decree has gone forth. It is time for what was promised to manifest, time for the weary to rise, time for divine restoration and unstoppable forward motion. And once this shift begins, nothing and no one can stop it. Not delay, not opposition, not doubt. For when God moves swiftly, the entire universe rearranges to make room for His will. You must understand, every divine shift carries a spiritual law behind it. God never changes seasons without a reason. He moves when alignment is complete, when obedience meets timing, when preparation meets purpose. This moment in your life is not random. It's the unfolding of a heavenly equation that has finally reached completion. For so long you've lived between promise and manifestation. It felt like standing in the hallway between closed doors and open ones, caught in transition, waiting for what you knew was coming but couldn't yet touch. That waiting wasn't wasted time. It was sacred time. It was in the waiting that your roots deepened, your discernment sharpened, and your character solidified. The wilderness you endured wasn't punishment, it was preparation. Every divine shift begins with an invisible stirring. Before anything changes in the physical, it moves in the spiritual. Heaven always changes the frequency before earth feels the tremor. And that's what's been happening around you. The spiritual atmosphere shifted first, and now the physical world is catching up to the word God already spoke over your life. The Lord often teaches through the cycles of nature. Just as the earth cannot remain in winter forever, neither can your spirit remain in waiting forever. There is a divine rhythm to destiny, sowing, waiting, reaping. And when the season of harvest comes, no power in hell can keep the fruit from breaking through the soil. This is the meaning of your shift. You have completed your spiritual winter. The frost of isolation is melting. The soil that once felt frozen is now fertile again. God has declared spring over your spirit, and everything dormant is awakening at once. Heaven is not rushing, it's fulfilling. The quickness you're feeling is not chaos, it's completion. When the fullness of time comes, things that once crawled suddenly run. Destinies that once lingered suddenly leap. It's not that God just started moving, it's that the time has come for what He's been preparing to manifest. Do you remember the story of Elijah? For 3.5 years there was drought, silence, waiting, testing. But when God spoke the word, the rain came suddenly. The Bible says, "And in a little while the heavens grew black with clouds and wind, and there was a great rain." In a little while. That's the phrase of divine acceleration, in a little while. That's where you are. Heaven's decree over your life is in a little while. Things that seemed far will come near, and what was impossible will unfold effortlessly. But here's what makes it sacred. Acceleration is never about speed alone, it's about synchronization. God moves swiftly only when His people are aligned perfectly with His rhythm. He doesn't rush because of pressure, He moves because of purpose. So when you feel things shifting quickly, don't fear the pace, honor the timing. You are in the rhythm of heaven. Spiritually, this is what it means. You've passed the test of stillness. You didn't abandon faith when nothing seemed to move. You trusted God in silence, and now you're being trusted with visibility. The shift is heaven's confirmation that your obedience was not in vain. And deeper still, this is not just your personal advancement. It's prophetic for the collective. Many who've been hidden, misunderstood, or underestimated are rising in this same hour. It's a changing of the guards in the spirit. New voices, new leaders, new lights are being lit across the earth, people who carry the fragrance of endurance, humility, and purity. The kingdom is advancing swiftly, and those who stayed pure in the refining fire are now being sent out as torches into the dark. This shift is not about comfort. It's about calling. God doesn't move swiftly just to make life easier. He moves to make destiny visible. He's launching assignments that have been in incubation for years. He's awakening dormant gifts, restoring lost passion, reviving forgotten visions. Because when heaven moves, it moves with purpose. And his purpose is always to reveal his glory through willing vessels, vessels like you. The spiritual depth of this moment is this: what was once external is becoming internal. You're not just walking into a new season, you're becoming it. The change isn't merely around you, it's within you. The same spirit that shifted the times is shifting your identity. You're shedding old mindsets, releasing outdated labels, and embracing the divine version of yourself that's been forming beneath the surface. This is the revelation behind your acceleration. God moves swiftly when he's found maturity in the vessel. When you no longer need the platform to prove your worth, he can trust you with influence. When you no longer crave recognition, he can place you in rooms of power. When you no longer idolize the outcome, he releases the overflow. You are entering a season where your spirit and God's timing are finally in sync. And when alignment meets acceleration, destiny becomes unstoppable. So don't fight the pace. Flow with it. Because this is not the season to question. This is the season to trust. Heaven is moving swiftly because heaven has found you ready. You may be wondering, how will I know this shift is real? How will I recognize that God is moving swiftly in my life? Beloved, the signs have already begun to unfold. They don't come wrapped in thunder. They come wrapped in awareness. When heaven moves, the spirit discerns before the eyes perceive. The first sign is divine disturbance. Lately, you've been feeling restless, not in frustration, but in anticipation. It's like your spirit knows something's coming even if your mind can't define it. You felt the pull to release certain habits, environments, or connections that no longer align. That's not anxiety, it's preparation. The Spirit of God is loosening what once held you comfortable so you can fit into what's coming. You're being stretched because expansion is near. The second sign is accelerated endings. Things that once lingered are closing quickly. Relationships ending abruptly, projects concluding suddenly, opportunities that seemed promising being withdrawn overnight. It may sting, but don't mourn what's moving out. These swift closures are heaven's cleanup, God making room for the doors that will soon open. When divine time arrives, anything not attached to your purpose detaches itself. The third sign is supernatural alignment. Suddenly, divine connections appear. People you've never met start speaking words that confirm what God already whispered. Doors you couldn't open start unlocking without effort. Ideas, resources, and opportunities begin to converge at once, as if orchestrated by an unseen hand. That's because they are. When heaven moves swiftly, synchronicity becomes your language. Everything starts just happening at the right time, in the right place, with the right people. The fourth sign is renewed energy. You feel awake again. Where exhaustion once drained you, now you feel stirred. Something deep inside says, it's time. Even your sleep changes. You wake earlier, dream more vividly, sense more deeply. The fog is lifting. The fire that once seemed dim is burning again. That's resurrection power proof that your dry bones are breathing again. The fifth sign is confirmation through creation. You'll notice nature echoing God's movement, winds, increasing clouds, shifting sudden weather changes during your prayer songs, or scriptures appearing repeatedly, patterns forming in random moments that align with what you've heard in your spirit. Creation itself bears witness to divine acceleration. The earth knows when God is moving. And finally, The sixth sign, inner knowing. It's that peace that makes no sense, that quiet assurance whispering. Something has changed. Even when the evidence hasn't fully manifested, your heart knows. The warfare feels different. The atmosphere feels lighter. The resistance doesn't shake you like before. Because deep down, you know you've already crossed over. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. Every sign is heaven's fingerprint upon your journey. Every moment of alignment, every divine interruption, every stirring within your soul is God saying, I'm here. I'm doing it. Keep watching. And when these signs start surrounding you all at once, rejoice because it means you are no longer waiting for the shift. You are in it. Every divine shift, no matter how glorious, carries its hidden battles. Acceleration comes with resistance. Because when heaven moves swiftly, the enemy scrambles to interfere. He knows he can't stop what God has decreed, but he'll try to distract, delay, or discourage you before fulfillment arrives. The first challenge you'll face is the test of perception. When change happens fast, it can look chaotic. What's meant to free you may first feel like loss. What's meant to promote you may first look like rejection. But don't misinterpret the movement. The tearing is part of the transition. The ground has to break before the seed can rise. If you look only with natural eyes, you'll call what's divine disaster. But if you stay in the Spirit, you'll see that every disruption carries direction. The second challenge is the silence between motion. Even in acceleration, there will be moments where heaven seems still, when things that began quickly suddenly pause. Don't panic. Swift seasons include pauses, not for delay, but for recalibration. God is synchronizing what's ahead so that when He moves again, everything aligns perfectly. The silence isn't absence, it's the breath before breakthrough. The third challenge is spiritual opposition. When your momentum increases, so does the enemy's frustration. Don't be surprised if old temptations try to reappear or if unexpected conflict arises. It's not coincidence. It's confirmation. Darkness reacts to movement because your advancement threatens the structures that once confined you. But remember, this is not your battle alone. You are surrounded by angelic reinforcement. Stand firm. Your warfare is proof that the enemy sees what you carry. The fourth challenge is emotional turbulence. Sudden change can stir fear even when it's good. You might feel waves of uncertainty, moments where faith collides with flesh. It's okay. You're human. But when anxiety whispers, anchor yourself in what God already said. You are not losing control. You are learning to flow. Every emotion rising now is being purified in the river of transformation. And the final challenge is the temptation to rush ahead of grace. When things begin to move quickly, the urge to control outcomes can resurface. You'll want to push to fix to force. But divine acceleration is not self-driven, it's spirit-led. If you try to run ahead, you'll step out of rhythm. Stay yielded, stay watchful. The blessing is unfolding faster than you think, but it must unfold God's way. So when pressure rises, when things don't make sense, when everything changes at once, pause, breathe, and remember, you prayed for this. You asked God to move, and He's doing exactly that. The shaking isn't meant to destroy you. It's meant to deliver you. Every challenge is a gate disguised as chaos. Every test is an invitation to trust deeper. And if you can stand through the storm of acceleration, you'll walk into the calm of fulfillment. Because when the shaking ends, what remains will be unshakable you. Now that the shift has begun, heaven is not asking you to wait, it's asking you to walk. Acceleration requires participation. When God moves swiftly, you must move wisely. You can't cling to what was, you must cooperate with what is. There are divine instructions for this season, holy strategies to align your pace with heaven's. Listen carefully, for these are not suggestions. They are sacred directions. Instruction 1. Stay anchored in prayer. When everything moves fast, prayer keeps your spirit stable. It is the place where you recalibrate, where you remember who is truly in control. Make prayer not an obligation, but oxygen. Start your mornings with surrender, not strategy. Because in swift seasons, human plans expire quickly, but divine guidance never does. Before you make a move, pause and say, "Lord, lead me into the flow of your will." He'll adjust your steps with supernatural precision. Instruction 2. Travel light. You cannot run into your next season carrying the baggage of the last one. Release offense. Forgive quickly. Detach from the weight of explanation. Not everyone deserves an answer. Not every misunderstanding needs defense. God will vindicate in His time. Your assignment is to stay pure, not prove a point. Because the lighter you travel, the faster you rise. Instruction 3. Protect your atmosphere. Acceleration demands focus. The enemy's favorite tactic in swift seasons is distraction, small fires meant to pull you off course. Guard your mind. Filter your conversations. Not every invitation is divine. Not every voice deserves access. The ones meant to walk with you in this season will carry peace, not confusion, vision, not gossip. Silence what drains you and amplify what feeds your spirit. Instruction 4. Document divine downloads. Revelation will come fast now, dreams, visions, ideas, impressions. Write them down. The Spirit will begin speaking through spontaneous inspiration, and if you don't record it, it can slip away. Keep a journal near your bed, a note app open in your phone. Heaven's strategy often arrives in whispers. Treat every whisper like a seed of destiny. Instruction 5. Move when prompted. In this season, delayed obedience equals missed opportunity. God is moving swiftly, and He's calling for immediate response. If He says apply, do it. If He says speak, speak. If He says release, release. Don't analyze your way out of divine timing. The Red Sea only parts when your feet touch the water. This is not the time to hesitate. It's the time to trust. Instruction 6. Stay humble in the rise. Acceleration is not elevation for ego. It's promotion for purpose. God is not blessing you to prove your greatness. He's blessing you to display His glory. So when doors open, when favor floods in, when visibility increases, stay low before Him. Let gratitude be your garment, because humility keeps acceleration from becoming destruction. Instruction 7. Speak what you see. Words shape momentum. In swift seasons, your declarations matter more than ever. Stop describing where you've been. Start declaring where you're going. Say what heaven says about you. Call yourself victorious. Call your path clear. Call your season fruitful. Heaven moves in agreement with your confession. And finally, Instruction 8. Rest in the movement. Yes, rest while God moves. You don't need to strive to keep up. You need to trust to keep pace. The same God who started this acceleration will sustain it. You are not running for His blessing, you're running with His rhythm. And when your soul starts to feel tired, step back, breathe, and remember, you are carried by grace, not effort. This is how you walk in divine motion. Prayer keeps you tuned. Surrender keeps you light. Focus keeps you safe. Humility keeps you grounded. And obedience keeps you moving. Heaven is moving swiftly, and you're being invited to move in sync. Don't let fear slow you. Don't let pride distract you. Don't let comfort anchor you. The wind of God is blowing in your direction. Raise your sails, not your excuses. For the Lord says, "My speed does not require your striving, only your surrender." Move with me, and you'll see the miracle unfold in motion. In every swift season, God not only moves for you, He also moves around you. Because divine acceleration without divine protection would crush a soul unprepared. So before He lifts you higher, He builds a shield around you. You may not see it, but heaven has already stationed angels at the borders of your journey. The Spirit of God wants you to know you are not moving alone. Even when the pace quickens, even when the road bends into unfamiliar territory, His presence goes before you. The same hand that opens doors is the hand that guards the path beyond them. You are surrounded, completely covered by favor, mercy, and light. Everywhere you go, invisible armies walk with you. There are moments when you should have fallen but didn't. Times when harm should have reached you but couldn't. That's not luck, that's the Lord encamping around His beloved. You've been protected in ways you didn't recognize. The rejection that hurt you was actually divine redirection. The closed door that angered you was a shield from unnecessary warfare. Even the delay you cried over was heaven saying, "Not yet, there's danger ahead." Every no that confused you was an act of mercy disguised as disappointment. In this new season, your sensitivity to His protection will increase. You'll begin to sense His presence more tangibly, like warmth wrapping your heart, like peace interrupting panic. You'll hear whispers of warning just before the wrong step and gentle nudges toward the right one. That's not intuition, it's the Holy Spirit serving as divine GPS. Follow that leading, even when it doesn't make sense. Because in times of acceleration, obedience is the greatest form of armor. When you rest, His watch continues. When you travel, His hand goes before you. When you sleep, angels stand guard. He is both your momentum and your covering. You are safe in the shift. Even when things around you seem unstable, you are anchored in the unshakable. The world may move in chaos, but you move in covenant. Everywhere your foot treads, He has already prepared provision and protection. Picture yourself walking through a storm, wind swirling, thunder roaring, and yet around you, a sphere of calm. That's divine insulation. The elements may rage, but they cannot touch the chosen one walking under God's command. That's how He keeps His promise. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. It may form, but it will fail. So when anxiety whispers that the speed of change is unsafe, remember the same God who set the pace also set the boundaries. He's not only moving swiftly, He's moving securely. He's not just guiding your steps, He's guarding your soul. Let that truth settle into your spirit. You are untouchable until your assignment is complete. And your assignment has just begun. Rest in this assurance. You are covered. You are guided. You are surrounded. And you are safe in the swift hand of God. There comes a moment in every divine journey when prophecy becomes presence, when what you once heard now stands before you. You are entering that moment. The waiting that once felt endless has become a doorway, and you are stepping through it right now. Everything about you is transforming. You may not notice it all at once, but heaven has already declared it. Your posture is different, your perception sharper, your purpose clearer. The weight that once pressed against your spirit has lifted, replaced by a quiet authority that only comes from endurance. You no longer pray from desperation, you speak from dominion. You've been refined, and the fire that once burned you now burns through you. This is what divine fulfillment looks like. It's not loud, it's certain. It doesn't always arrive with thunder. Sometimes it arrives with peace that settles over your heart, like dawn after a storm. Where there was confusion, there is now clarity. Where there was emptiness, there is now overflow. The same places that once symbolized loss are now becoming landmarks of victory. You've shifted from waiting for breakthrough to walking as breakthrough. Because the true miracle was never just the blessing, it was the transformation of your being. The version of you standing here today is not the one who entered the wilderness. You've gained discernment, patience, resilience. You've learned to stand when others fall, to see when others doubt, to believe when evidence was absent. That's what qualifies you for this new dimension. In the realm of the Spirit, the transformation is radiant. Your aura carries peace. Your words carry weight. Wherever you go, divine authority flows through your presence. You've become a vessel. Heaven can trust one that releases light in dark places and speaks truth into confusion. And now, the fruit of your waiting is manifesting. Doors you once knocked on are opening automatically. Prayers you whispered years ago are being answered in rapid succession. It's as if the floodgates of heaven have burst open and blessings are rushing to catch up with lost time. What was once delayed is being delivered in double measure. You'll notice the transformation not just in what you receive, but in what no longer moves you. The things that used to break you will now bounce off your peace. The opinions that once wounded you will lose their sting. You will walk into places that once intimidated you and feel a calm boldness rise within. That's evidence of divine maturity. God didn't just shift your season, He upgraded your spirit. You're walking in a new frequency now. You're operating in acceleration, but anchored in peace. Swift movement, steady heart. Rapid manifestation, rooted faith. That balance is your power. And here's the mystery. Your transformation is not just for you, it's prophetic for others. Your life is becoming a living testimony that God moves swiftly for those who trust Him. People who once doubted you will witness undeniable favor. Those who walked away will hear of your restoration. But your response will not be pride, it will be praise. Because you'll know it was never you. It was always Him. When fulfillment comes, stay humble, stay grateful, stay glowing with grace. You are the proof that delay is not denial, that waiting is not wasted, that obedience still leads to overflow. And as you stand here, renewed, strengthened, unshaken, hear heaven's whisper, this is just the beginning. You've entered the season of swift manifestation. What took years to build, I will multiply in days. You have passed the test, and now you shall carry the promise. Take a deep breath. This is your harvest. This is your moment. You are walking in divine fulfillment, and nothing can reverse what God has released. Take a deep breath. You've walked through the wilderness, endured the silence, survived the shaking, and now you stand beneath an open heaven. The season has shifted, and God is moving swiftly in your favor. All that you lost, all that you suffered, all that you waited for, is now converging into divine fulfillment. This is your confirmation you have crossed over. Before we close, let these words anchor in your spirit. Speak them aloud, not as hope, but as truth already set in motion. Affirmation 1. I am aligned with divine timing. Every step I take is guided by heaven's perfect rhythm. I no longer chase. I attract what belongs to me by God's decree. Affirmation 2. I am covered by divine protection. No weapon formed against me shall prosper, and every storm sent to break me will bless me instead. Affirmation 3. I am walking in acceleration. What once took years will happen in moments. I move in faith, not fear, for God goes before me, making the crooked path straight. Affirmation 4. I am the fulfillment of prophecy. I am walking in answered prayers, and my life now testifies that God moves swiftly for those who believe. Pause here. Let those words soak into the soil of your soul. Every declaration plants a seed that heaven will water. Keep them close, speak them daily. They will keep your spirit steady when the winds of change blow again. Now receive this blessing, let it seal what has been spoken over your life. May the God of sudden shifts surround you with favor that cannot be earned or explained. May every delay be redeemed and every loss restored in double portion. May your spirit stay light. your faith stay strong, and your peace remain unshaken. May doors open before you faster than fear can whisper. May divine connections locate you, and may supernatural strength sustain you. I decree over you acceleration without exhaustion, increase without anxiety, elevation without ego, favor without striving. You will not miss your moment, and your moment will not miss you. Go forth now, eyes fixed on heaven, heart anchored in peace, hands open to receive. For the season has shifted, the gates of delay have broken, and the swift hand of God is moving even now. You are ready. You are covered. You are chosen. And your time has come. Amen.